Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is very interesting where we are going to see how we can create a static header with scrollable body in MicroStrategy report services document. So without any further ado, let's jump into my laptop screen. But yeah, here is the intro. Okay, so now we'll see how we can create the static dashboard header with the scrollable body. Okay, so if you see this document, this is having a scrollable section, but obviously you can see here the dashboard header is also scrolling, but we want this particular header to be static, okay, and the body section to be scrollable. So just for an example, this is the end result which we are going to achieve. Like this header is going to be static, and whatever the object, filter, images, or whatever header component you want to add over here, then you can add, and this is going to be static, and your body will be the scrolling. Okay, so the document structure will be like this, where you have to include two sections. One is the document header and another is detail header, where this will be your body and this will be your dashboard header. So once you kind of include all the objects in body and in document header, what you have to do, first of all, let me hide this particular container for a sec. What you have to do, so once you kind of completed the dashboard development, you have to go to the presentation mode, and as you have two different sections. So in your document, it will create two different section div. If you inspect this, and you will get like this. Okay, so this particular div is for upper header, and the below one is for the down one, that's the body one. Okay, so it will be part of MSTR Mozo doc layout. Inside that, it will be two different div. If you have included only two sections, if you have included more than that, then obviously another divs will be created. What you have to do, you have to get this particular div ID. So the ID of the div is dynamic, but this particular part until T, this is the static part of the ID, and after that, this is the dynamic part which we are going to pick or get using the code, which I will tell you in a moment. But yeah, so you have to get this div ID until T. So just copy this this particular until T, the ID, and just paste it somewhere where you can later on we will use that ID. Okay, so just you have to inspect it, and you get the ID of that particular div. Okay, the header part. Use that particular div so what we are going to do, we will kind of logically we will cut this particular div from here, and we are going to paste that particular div inside this. Okay, so because why we are doing that, because this particular part is not as a part of scrollable div. Okay, so outside of that, if you see, this is the scrollable section where all the content will be the scrollable, but above that it is not a scrollable section, you can say, consider that. Okay, so inside this particular div, we are going to insert, or you can say cut and paste. Logically, we will cut this div from here and we'll paste it over here. Okay, so let's see how we can do that through code. We have to use that particular ID to identify the div, if you see over here. Okay, and this is the part where the dynamic build time we are going to get from the MSTR document. Okay, So with the help of this, whenever the document is rendering or executed, so automatically it will pick the build time and it will append to the id static part, and by that we can kind of get that particular div. Okay, so here I have written some bunch of code. For simplicity, what I will tell you over here that obviously we have two sections, so I'm just a child of that particular div, like two sections we have. So we'll have the two elements. So here I have included this bunch of code, but if you want to simplified version, like in the document.ready, only you can include this particular code. But if suppose you have more number of objects or visualization, so the document.ready, so the rendering part will take some time, and in document.ready code also maybe it will fail. So we have to do it recursively call, so that we will know that the element, or you can say the sections, are loaded. So I've written over here to know that the elements are loaded or not for those sections, like did we got the all the two sections in our entire HTML. If we got that, then obviously what we are going to do, that we are going to collect that particular div header part, and we are going to append to that particular doc layout and the children 0, so which I mentioned earlier. Okay, so once we append that, then automatically some alignment will be distorted, because that will be not the part of your the main div, parent div. So once we change that and we appended that div to this particular div, then we have to set the left CSS property by getting the left CSS style property through the main parent, and append it to that particular div. This is the part, this is the main code where you have to kind of logically cut and paste one div from one section, one area to another area. Okay, and some of the logical implementation which I have done to make it recursively call until and unless we kind of get the div loaded properly. So there is some set timeout I have given out to kind of load the document, and recursively I'm kind of calling the function. Okay, until and unless there is some set of iterations happen. So this is the main base kind of a main code area where we are implementing that. These are some logical and scenario handlings areas which I have implemented. So multiple ways you can achieve this particular functionalities. One way is like this particular piece which I have shown over here. Another one is this with some different time recursive call and all. We can do that. A simplified way is the obvious document.ready give some set timeout of some 5 second or 10 second. But this is the main concept, like you have to get the div and append it to a different area of that document. Okay, by this we can kind of achieve that particular functionality wherever you have that kind of requirement. Okay, so you have to include the HTML container in your body section, and then whatever the code I have shared in my blog post, from there you can kind of change your ID of the div, and you can kind of utilize that. Okay, so once we are done with that, then we are going to get that particular functionality implemented. And if you see, our header is static and our body is scrollable. So yeah, that's it in this video. If you have any kind of requirement or any kind of issues which you are facing, please let me know in my blog post or in comment in the comment area, and I will kind of see and check if that if I kind of help you in that in those queries. Okay, so yeah, means so stay tuned for the next video. We'll come back with some interesting and tips and trick in MicroStrategy.